What's going on, PCFM Army? Long time no see. I am back after taking a short trip to SHOT Show, and no, this episode will not be on that because there was already a million videos on what was going on over there, and nothing, in my opinion, was more important or is important as what we are covering today. So get ready for some exciting military news. Let's go. Welcome to the Debrief. Starting off the week with some historical news, as the first Space Force Guardian has been selected to launch into space as part of a NASA mission to the International Space Station, or the ISS. First thing that immediately comes to mind is, am I the only one who had no idea that the Space Force personnel are referred to as Guardians? We have soldiers in the Army, we got sailors in the Navy, airmen in the Air Force, and Marines and Coast Guardsmen in the Marine Corps and Coast Guard. They pale in comparison to the name Guardians, literal Guardians of the Galaxy.
Then bring it down hard. Someday, put it together.
What are you doing?
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
This is probably the coolest thing about the Space Force, and I am absolutely guilty of thinking these guys and gals were just a bunch of huge nerds. But they're not nerds. They're Guardians. Anyways, Colonel Nick Hague is the lucky Guardian to be selected for this amazing opportunity. But, and crazy enough, this isn't the first time this guy's been to space. Although Hague will be the first Space Force personnel to orbit the planet, it will not be his first time in space because he's completed 2 other space missions while he was serving in the Air Force. Nick Hague is what we refer to as having big energy. How many people on this planet are considered overqualified to go to space? Now that must have been the easiest choice in the world for the Space Force. Hey Steve, who do you think we should send to space on our behalf? Well, geez, Tom, I'm not sure. How about the guy that's already been twice? Hague will be joining a ragtag crew of astronauts on his mission to the ISS, to include someone named Commander Xena Cadman, who is a person with a name that prevented them from being anything but a space traveler. You know, it really does make me feel really good and gives me a great sense of pride that we have people in our armed forces that are capable of such amazing things. Because I hate to say it, but when you're an infantryman like me or a National Guardsman like me, you tend to see some absolute morons in the military, and it can give you a really bad taste in your mouth. But then you read articles like this, and it just reignites that sparks and makes me believe again. So good luck, Colonel Hague, and watch out for hitchhikers. Moving on, more trouble for our Navy in the Red Sea as the Maritime Force continues to put out Houthi rebel fires seemingly on the daily. One recent attack put a Houthi-launched anti-ship missile within 1 nautical mile of the Navy destroyer, the Gravely, earlier this week. And for those of you who are land lovers like myself, a nautical mile is 1.15 normal miles. You're welcome. The ship ended up having to use their Phalanx close proximity weapon system to neutralize this incoming missile. Now, you want to talk about impressive feats of technology. The Phalanx CIWS is a 20mm cannon that can fire up to 4,500 rounds per minute at missiles and aircrafts. I'm glad we have this bad boy on our side because that's an amazing piece of technology. But as the news of the U.S. Navy vessels shooting down enemy missiles and drones is increasingly becoming relevant, the major concern here that we are seeing is the sustainability of such operations due to the limited missile capacity on these carriers. Now, opinion piece. Regardless, to me, the situation is rapidly developing into a too close for comfort scenario. How long are we just going to sit around playing punching bag, wasting resources, repelling non-complex attack after attack when we have Iran-backed rebel groups moving on us daily, killing 3 National Guardsmen, injuring dozens more in Jordan, which, by the way, is more tragic news that has recently occurred, and my heart goes out to those families. And they're moving around with no consequences. Now, there are men and women sitting in military bases all around this country, just itching to get out and get some. We can absolutely wipe the Houthis off the face of the globe in a few hours, and there's some people just don't want to do that, and that makes me extremely sad. Moving on to our final piece of news, the Heritage Foundation recently released their findings for their annual index of the U.S. military strength, and I should have put that in quotations. But things are not looking good, well, for everyone other than the Marine Corps. In a nutshell, the report revealed that the U.S. military is nowhere near where it should be and measures each branch's strength based on 3 criteria. That's capability, capacity, and readiness. On a scale from very strong, marginal, weak, and very weak, we have the Marine Corps leading the way, capturing the rating of strong, while the Air Force and the Space Force are right there in the middle, rated marginal, and then we have good old Army and Navy rated weak and very weak, respectively. A little embarrassing. But, however, before all my devil dogs go out and burn down the town celebrating, the Marine Corps was the only service to be analyzed from the lens of the branch's ability to sustain itself through 1 regional conflict instead of 2 regional conflicts like the other branches. So, there might have been some wiggle room there. The one thing that just doesn't sit right with me about all of this is, why are we making this public knowledge? Why do we want our enemies to know we aren't properly able to defend our country and pursue our strategic goals? Do you think from an operational security standpoint, we would want the enemy to know all this information and this report to not be closed or private? I mean, the only way we've heard anything about the Chinese military is because we had a defector come over and tell us that they have no money and that they're using rocket fuel to make hot pot. The military is just in such a funky spot right now, and I really don't know how to feel about it. Let's just fire everyone, start from scratch. That sounds like a fair solution to me. Well, that's going to do it for this week, folks. It was nice being back with you. And if you thought it was nice, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and as always, let us know about this week's news in the comment section. We'd love to hear your thoughts. My name is Fath, and we will see you all next week on another fun, exciting, and engaging episode of The Debrief.